Hey everyone, welcome back to Core Otaku. What if you woke up tomorrow in a completely different world? No rules, no limits, just pure fantasy chaos. Today, we're counting down 10 god-tier Isekai anime that take that dream and crank it up to legendary levels. These aren't just good, these are the ones that defined an entire genre. Smash that like button and let's go! Kicking things off at number 10 with the rising of the shield hero, the isekai that hits you in the gut from minute one. Now Fumi is summoned as one of 4 cardinal heroes to save the world, and within days he is falsely accused, publicly humiliated, stripped of everything, and completely abandoned by the very kingdom that summoned him. No allies, no money, no trust. Just a shield and pure, burning determination. Most heroes get a welcome feast. Now Fumi gets betrayal and exile. And watching him rebuild from absolute zero, earning every ally, every upgrade, every ounce of respect the hard way, is deeply satisfying. His bond with Raphtalia and Philo isn't just wholesome, it's the emotional core of the entire series. These aren't just party members, they're his family, the people who chose him when nobody else would. The rising of the shield hero hits different because now Fumi's victory isn't given, it's earned. Every win feels like justice being served cold. From a hero betrayed to a world where survival is never guaranteed. At number 9, Grimgar, Ashes and Illusions. The isekai that dares to ask, what if it wasn't easy? No memories, no cheat powers, no tutorial, just a group of strangers dumped into a fantasy world and told to survive. These aren't overpowered heroes, they struggle to kill a single goblin. Every coin earned feels like a victory. And then the unthinkable happens. They lose someone. Their leader, Minato, is gone, and suddenly the weight of this world crashes down hard. Grimgar doesn't let you look away from grief. It sits with it, breathes with it. This is isekai stripped of all the fantasy wish fulfillment, raw, emotional, and beautiful for it. If you wanted isekai that actually feels like something real, Grimgar will shake you to your core. From brutal survival to a salaryman who declares war on God himself. Number 8 is Saga of Tanya the Evil, the one where God gets disrespected and decides to make someone's afterlife a complete nightmare. A cold, calculating Japanese salaryman gets pushed in front of a train. In the split second before death, he meets God and proceeds to argue with him. Not pray, not beg, debate. He calls God Being X and tells him he has absolutely no proof of divinity. So Being X reincarnates him as a little orphan girl named Tanya in a World War I era magical alternate universe. With one condition, die without faith and go straight to hell. So Tanya's grand plan is to climb the military ranks as fast as possible to stay safe. Except Tanya is so ruthlessly efficient and terrifyingly competent that she keeps getting promoted straight toward the front lines. She's desperately trying to escape danger and keeps accidentally becoming a war legend. Tanya the Evil is darkly hilarious, brilliantly written, and absolutely one of a kind. Nothing else in isekai even comes close to this concept, from divine grudges to the most wholesome nation building you've ever seen. Number 7 is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Because what if your isekai protagonist was literally a blob? Satoru dies pushing a friend out of harm's way, good guy energy even at the very end. He wakes up reincarnated as a tiny blue slime. Weakest monster in the game, right? Wrong. His ability to devour anything and copy its powers means every creature he eats makes him stronger. He befriends a literal storm dragon, gets the name Rimuru Tempest, and accidentally becomes the most important being in the entire world. But what makes Rimuru special isn't just the power, it's the heart. He genuinely cares about every goblin, every ogre, every misfit creature nobody else wanted. He doesn't conquer the world through force, he builds a nation where everyone belongs. Rimuru is pure, wholesome chaos energy, and watching Tempest grow from a tiny slime village into a world power is genuinely joy-inducing every single episode. From slime nation building to a mastermind who rules entirely from the shadows. At number 6, Log Horizon, the isekai that actually thought about society. 30,000 Japanese players log into Elder Tale one day and simply cannot log out. They're physically inside the game now. And unlike most isekai heroes, strategist Shiroi doesn't just start swinging at monsters. He starts asking the bigger questions. How do you feed 30,000 confused people? How do you create laws when there's no government? How do you negotiate with NPCs who are now living, breathing people? Shiroi builds civilization from scratch, and it is absolutely fascinating. The guild politics, the economic systems, the diplomatic negotiations between player factions. Log Horizon goes places other isekai never even consider. It's smart, it's layered, and Shiroi is one of the most genuinely brilliant protagonists the genre has ever produced. Log Horizon is the isekai for people who want their fantasy served with a generous side of actual brain power. From rebuilding civilization to the most unhinged power fantasy ever put to screen. Number 5 is The Eminence in Shadow, the most gloriously unhinged power fantasy ever made, and it absolutely knows it. Sid Kagano doesn't want to be the hero. He doesn't want to be the villain. He wants to be the mysterious mastermind pulling strings from the darkness, the guy nobody suspects until it's far too late. In modern Japan, he's just a weirdo training alone in secret. Then he gets isekais and suddenly has the magic power to actually back up his delusions. He creates a fake secret organization called Shadow Garden to fight a completely made-up evil cult, purely for the aesthetic. Except the cult turns out to be real. And his fictional group accidentally becomes the most feared organization in the entire world. Sid is just peacefully vibing in his personal power fantasy, while an actual world-ending conspiracy crumbles around him without him even noticing. The comedy timing is absolutely chef's kiss. The Eminence in Shadow is pure chaotic fun that never takes itself too seriously, and that's exactly why it earns its spot on this list. From shadow masterminds to a world where absolutely everything runs on games. At number 4, No Game, No Life. The isekai made specifically for people who would genuinely rather live inside a video game. Sora and Shiro are hikikomori step-siblings, completely and utterly useless in the real world. But online, they're blank, an undefeated legendary duo that no one has ever beaten. When a literal god challenges them to chess and loses, he pulls them straight into Disboard, a world where every single conflict is settled by games. No wars, no violence, just insanely high-stakes gaming where the loser surrenders anything. Countries, populations, entire species on the line every single match. And these two chaotic geniuses just look at each other and go, finally, a world built for us. The strategy, the mind games, the absolute audacity of their plays. It's electrifying every single time. Sora and Shiro aren't just overpowered, they're smart overpowered, and that hits completely different. No Game, No Life is a neon-colored, brain-bending blast that'll make you genuinely wish Disboard was real. From game masters to a bone-chilling god king ruling from a throne of absolute darkness. At number 3, Overlord. The most unique isekai premise ever conceived. What if the villain was your main character? Momonga is a dedicated player of a dying MMORG. On the game's very last night, he sits completely alone in his guild hall. All his friends have long moved on with their real lives. He refuses to log out just to feel that world one final time. And then, the servers simply don't shut down. He's trapped inside as Eins ul Gon, the most powerful undead skeleton wizard overlord imaginable. And every single one of his NPCs has come fully alive, completely devoted to their master. Here's the twist that makes this genius. Eins doesn't feel emotions anymore. His undead form chemically suppresses them. So this lonely office worker is now piloting a terrifying, god-tier villain body, trying to find meaning in a strange world, while his servants assume his every accidental move is genius-level scheming. He's winging it almost entirely, and it somehow always works because he's just that overwhelmingly powerful. The world bends around him whether he plans it or not. Overlord is dark, clever, and completely one of a kind, an isekai power fantasy told from the throne of absolute darkness. From skeleton overlords to the most emotionally devastating isekai ever created. At number 2, Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. The isekai that didn't just raise the bar, it built an entirely new one from scratch. A broken 34-year-old man dies in his one genuinely selfless moment, pushing strangers out of the path of a speeding truck. He wakes up as baby Rudius Greyrat in a world of swords and magic, with every memory intact and one burning promise to himself. This time, I will not waste my life. What follows is the most complete isekai journey ever told. Childhood wonder and early friendships, a catastrophic, world-shattering magical disaster, heartbreak, failure, and slow, painful recovery, love found in the most unexpected places, a family built through years of genuine, hard-earned effort. Rudius doesn't skip the hardship. He earns every single relationship. Roxy, who believes in him first, Sylphie, who grows alongside him, Eris, who challenges every part of him. Every arc adds something real and permanent to who he truly is. This is a story about a genuinely flawed person learning, slowly, painfully, beautifully, to become someone worthy of the second chance he was given. And when Rudius passes peacefully at 74, surrounded by everyone he ever loved, it hits on a completely different level. Mushoku Tensei is the gold standard of the genre, the template every modern isekai measures itself against. An absolute masterpiece that earns every single second of its legendary reputation. But the one isekai that stands above even this is coming up right now. And at number 1, Re:Zero, the isekai that weaponizes hope and then destroys it repeatedly without mercy. Subaru is a regular NEET suddenly dropped into a gorgeous fantasy world. He finds a silver-haired half-elf named Emilia and immediately wants to help her. And then he dies, brutally, horribly, completely. His power? Returned by death. Every time he dies, he resets back to a checkpoint. Sounds incredibly useful, right? Except he remembers everything. Every single death, every failure, every person he couldn't save, all locked inside only him while the rest of the world simply forgets. Re:Zero isn't about an overpowered hero breezing through every obstacle. It's about a deeply flawed, genuinely broken boy dying over and over until he figures out how to be worthy of the people he loves. The psychological weight this show carries is absolutely crushing. Subaru's devotion to Emilia isn't just romance, it's his entire reason to keep dying and trying again. That commitment through absolute despair is one of the most powerful character arcs in all of anime history. Re:Zero is not just a god-tier isekai, it is a god-tier anime full stop, and that is why it sits on the throne at number 1. And that's our 10 god-tier isekai anime. From Shield Hero's raw redemption to Mushoku Tensei's legendary journey, From Tanya arguing with God to Rimuru accidentally building a slime empire, these are the shows that prove Isekai is one of anime's greatest genres of all time. Which one is your personal number one? Drop it in the comments right now. I genuinely want to know. Smash that subscribe button for Encore Otaku, and I'll see you in the very next one. Stay awesome, keep watching, and never skip an Isekai again.